Today's anime review, Macross Zero, the prequel to the original series and the official starting point for my Macross franchise review marathon over the next 2 weeks. Subscribe for daily spoiler-free anime reviews covering series on Fridays and movies or OVAs the rest of the week. Macross Zero is set several months before the first episode of SDF Macross, depicting the unification war, further developing Roy Focker and unveiling some of the truth behind Protoculture. Although it's a prequel, you'll likely need to see the original to understand Zero, or at least watch the first few minutes of the original series. Although the first few minutes of the original details the motivations for the unification war featured within Zero, you'd still be in the dark about aliens and Protoculture. In the original anime, we learned that humanity was seeded by aliens countless years ago, and our culture is derived from the building blocks gifted to us. Much of Macross Zero uncovers the recent truth behind the origins of this Protoculture. Those interested in ancient history alien theories will find Macross Zero very intriguing. Our pilot protagonist Shin Kudo ejects during battle and wakes up in a tribal village with a huge secret. The inhabitants of this island are an unbroken line of descendants spanning thousands of years, which is how they formed their esoteric spiritual culture. What differentiates their beliefs from the rest of the world is their massive cache of ancient alien artifacts. As it turns out, this island was once ground zero for an alien seeding Protoculture on Earth, where it remains dormant until the events of this anime. You might be wondering why people living at the epicenter of Protoculture are the least advanced people on Earth. It's actually by choice, as they chose to live a life in harmony with nature. Plus, the alien doesn't just affect one location at a time, it's more of a global event. These islanders are only aware of the alien's existence because their people interacted with it many years ago and legends were passed down through the generations. On this island, Shin meets Sara, the introverted priestess and pessimistic isolationist, and her sister Mao, the extroverted and cheerful girl who has aspirations far from home. While the anime is only 5 episodes long, its story contains many plot points, Shin learning the customs of the islanders and the brief love triangle developing between the two aforementioned sisters, the war between the UN and anti-UN forces over world unification, and juicy alternate Earth history involving aliens. You may notice Macross movies and OVAs I've reviewed so far tend to bite off more than they can chew in the story department. Thankfully, Macross Zero feels the most complete and thoroughly enjoyable, though it still doesn't take full measures. For a prequel, they spent little time explaining the parts I was most curious about. The original anime vaguely hints at details about the unification war and Protoculture, but Zero depicts the characters in the middle of the war and uncovering ancient aliens. As a Macross fan, I want to know the exact root of Protoculture and its connection to the Zentradi, and I want to see how the war began that's not a part of a flashback. While the fanboy deep within me was left unsatiated in that regard, I have to give Macross Zero a break because it's just a 20th century anniversary. Its creator initially planned Zero to be the backstory of the iconic transforming fighter jets, but changed direction due to 9/11. I'm not sure what the two of them have in common, but you can still see remnants of his intent within Zero in its detailed VF models. Zero probably has the most articulate CG animation of any full anime of its decade, considering their intent to achieve model kit accuracy. Zero also puts on a masterclass of cinematography with its camera angles, scenery, and usage of color. It feels like an actual high-budget Hollywood movie, and the only other anime I can think of with this quality is Gundam Hathaway. I love seeing the brief first-person shots during dogfights, and this tribal island lush with vegetation and littered with ancient relics. There was nothing about Macross Zero that I didn't like. I just wish there was more of what we had. I thought the characters were interesting, but I wanted to learn more about them. I enjoyed learning about these people's culture, but it only was relevant for the first half of the OVA. The ancient alien content was intriguing, but it didn't go far enough back beyond Earth history to depict its true origin. The combat was exciting and well animated, and it also utilized its environment instead of constantly fighting in the vacant sky or space. Plus, the beautiful CG models really shined when they transformed mid-battle. It's just that the fighting felt shallow on a narrative level because its exposition was too brief. We're dealing with the third and final World War, and most of the information I have on it comes from Wikipedia. Granted, there's still 4 Macross entries released before Zero that I haven't seen, which may have given these details. I'm just going off my curiosity from the original anime. I also like how they further developed Roy Focker, though he's basically a tertiary character. The little screen time he gets is meaningful as it contains references to the original series and major events that shape his personality going forward. Overall, I give Macross Zero an 8 out of 10. It's a fantastic OVA if you set your expectations appropriately and watch it with an open mind. Don't expect it to resolve every mystery from every Macross anime that came before it. It's an interesting story with visuals that held up incredibly well. If you've never seen the original Macross anime, you may still enjoy Zero. Just keep in mind you will come away with more unanswered questions than I did. However, considering my favorite aspect of this OVA was its cinematography, I believe this to be an aspect universally enjoyable and will probably be worth watching even if you don't understand its story. What did you think of Macross Zero? Leave a like if you enjoyed the review. Thanks to Nia-chan and all of my monthly Patreon and YouTube supporters for making these videos possible. I'll see you tomorrow when I revisit the original Macross anime.